I'm Randall Hamm, and another Artist Spotlight segment this morning on the Sunday Morning Gospel Show. And on the line with me this morning, if you're a fan of gospel music, you know this gentleman's name, Bryan Hutson, formerly of the Kingsmen, the Blackwood Gospel Group, and now with Sold Out Quartet. He's taking some time off with Sold Out and doing some solo Christmas concerts. And you're going to be in concert next Sunday night at the Springs Valley High School along with our own Kirby Staley. Bryan, what's going on?
Well, Sold Out, we take the entire month of December. Well, first of all, thank you, Randall, for having me on this morning. And every year when Sold Out, we take our vacation. We usually take off the entire month of December. Well, it gives me a chance to go out and do some things on my own. And this year, my wife and I recorded a Christmas CD this late fall. And we decided we were going to do some things together, and so she goes along with me, and she'll sing a little bit. She calls herself a car singer. She said, "I've never stood in front of an audience and tried to sing." Now she's a speaker. She's done women's conferences and women's mother-daughter banquets during the year, but she's not used to actually singing. So we put her a stool up there, and she sings harmony, or she'll do the background vocals, but she does really well. But it gives us a chance during the month of December to go out and do our own thing and minister together as a couple. And we call ourselves Rescue Me Ministries. And it's a great outreach. We feel like our calling is for couples, married couples and families, to strengthen families and to encourage and challenge couples to fight for their marriage and fight for their family. But we're going to be there next Sunday night in French Lick at the school, and for Restoration Church, Wade Allen, the pastor there. We just have fallen in love with him and his family, and they got the most gorgeous baby girl you've ever seen anywhere. Let me tell you, every time they post a picture on Facebook, it just warms your heart. But great people, and so we were there last year and had such a great time with Kirby, and an incredible musician,
yes,
great singer, and we just had a blast. And so we're looking forward to next Sunday night, the 21st of December, and I encourage everybody to come out and they usually have cookies. I hope I'm not speaking out of bounds if Wade hears this, but I hope that last year they had some cookies and baked goods and stuff, and so we just had a great time of fellowship. Sang some Christmas songs. I'll do a few Kingsman songs. You mentioned, Randall, that I had been with the Kingsmen and the Blackwoods, and now we're Sold Out. It sounds like I can't keep a job, so I'm not sure how that goes, but so I'll do some Kingsman songs, do some Sold Out songs, and do some Christmas songs, but. It's just going to be a great time, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's Bryan Hutson on the line with me yesterday. He's going to be in concert next Sunday evening, the Springs Valley High School, 6 p.m. there, and Restoration Christian Church, Brother Wade Allen, bringing in Bryan Hutson and his lovely wife, Yvonne, there with Kirby Staley. And it's going to be a great concert. And
hi, this is Bryan Hutson. You're listening to the Sunday Morning Gospel Show with Randall Hamm here on WFLQ, French Lick.
Now, you have a presence on Facebook, Friends of Bryan Hutson, and you also do some blogs. If people like your Friends of Bryan Hutson page, you'll get some blogs of what you was talking about, the Rescue Me Ministries, and some great blogs you put out.
Thank you very much. Yvonne and I both write an article, a couple's article, what you might say, every month for SGN Scoops magazine, online magazine. And so we also have a blog. It's called Journey with Bryan and Y. And, we write each month, for issues that are mainly pertaining to couples, some gospel music, rare, we don't really write blogs just about gospel music. But, there's so many things, Randall, you know this, been around gospel as long as you have been. There's certain issues that come up that, the world attacks a family.
Yes.
The world, there's so much opposition from the enemy and from social media, from just what you might call the world, against families and against couples, and that's where our passion is, and we want to encourage couples. And for me, I want to encourage, dads. I know you got Bryan, your young son there.
Yes.
And I encourage dads to be the men that God has called us to be. And, are we perfect? No. But we need to do our very best to show a godly example in front of our children, because, the way, as growing up in Indiana, I'm a Hoosier, whatever that is. But our passion should be for dads is to be the godly men that we're called to be, so our sons and our daughters will see that, and they will know, and it'll help them in life later on about, things that will affect them and how they'll treat people and how they'll treat their spouse, how they'll treat other people. It's by the way we treated people, by them seeing what we do. And, you've heard the expression, we might be the only Bible that someone ever reads.
Right.
That's so true. And so, Yvonne's passion is to talk to young girls who, the magazines in the checkout line tell you have to look a certain way, you have to be a certain size, you have to be a certain weight, you have to weigh, you have to wear your hair a certain way. And her passion is to tell these young girls who are so vulnerable at an early age, is you be who God has created you to be. You look the way that makes you feel comfortable. Don't worry about what other people say about how you should look and how you should dress and how you should handle yourself. So, but, I just feel like that, we have a strong presence on Facebook. And, Facebook can be a good thing and Facebook can be a bad thing. We want our Facebook posts to be encouraging, to be challenging, and, we are lighthearted, and, we don't take everything all serious all the time, and so we want to use our social media in a positive way, have a positive effect, and hopefully point people to the gospel.
Bryan Hutson we're talking with, and he's going to be in concert next Sunday evening here in the Springs Valley area, the Springs Valley High School, along with Kirby Staley, 6 p.m. Hope that you'll be able to get out and go to that great concert there featuring Bryan Hutson and his wife, Yvonne, along with Kirby Staley. Let's hear a song. Let's tune in once again to more of that Bryan Hutson interview. Don't forget Bryan to be in concert. That will be next Sunday evening, 6 p.m., Springs Valley High School, along with our own Kirby Staley. Bryan? We're just a few years shy of your 20-year anniversary of you popping onto the scene with the Kingsmen. I knew it was getting right close. We're still a couple of years away from your first project, 1996, Beyond the Clouds project.
Right, yes. That was a lot of fun. When I got there, Randall, the tracks, the music was already recorded. For people who don't know a lot of recording lingo, the tracks and music was already cut. So a couple of songs were a little low for me, but it was a lot of fun and a learning experience. Eldridge Fox, the late great owner of the Kingsmen for many, many years, hired me, and it was quite an experience. I remember my brother and myself, we drove to Asheville, North Carolina to audition. He had called me and wanted me to come in, and he had told me like 3 months before he did this call that if he ever needed a lead singer, he would call me. And I'm sure I thought, well, he probably told 50 other guys across America that. But he called me, and I drove down to Asheville, North Carolina. It was funny that the people who know the Kingsmen remember Big Jim Hamill,
right?
The MC and lead singer for 28, 29 years with the Kingsmen. Well, the guy that was in the office right before me was this young boy who went on to sing with another group eventually down the road, but he was there for an audition, and Big Jim Hamill walked in the office. There's this young kid sitting there in the office. I'm sure he was shaking like a leaf, ready to audition for the Kingsmen. And Big Jim walked in the office and talked to Eldridge and talked to several other Kingsmen that were in there, and came back out, looked at the kid. I said, "Kid, I'm a lot better singer than you are, and I didn't get it, so good luck." And walked out the door. And they said that young man was shaking the whole time he was auditioning. And anyway, finally my turn came, and I walked in just expecting, really, Eldridge and maybe one other person. And it was the entire group sitting on the floor. They had a keyboard set up, and I think I sang How Great Thou Art. And they had just finished the track to the song Stand Upon the Rock of Ages.
Yes.
And they handed me the lyric sheet, and they said, see if you can just follow along with this. And so we all started singing together. And but the first thing Eldridge said when I walked in the door, he said, "I've been waiting all day for you to get here." And so later on, we sang 2 or 3 songs together. And so I sung How Great Thou Art, and he said, well, we have one more gentleman we have to audition tonight. I gave my word that I would listen to this young man sing. They were going to go sing somewhere, and the next day I was back in Indiana. I was living in Columbus at the time.
Yep.
The phone rang, and it was Eldridge, and he was offering me the job. So it was that's been almost 20 years ago. That's been a while, Randall. It's been a while.
It has been a while, and of course, off of that project, you just mentioned right there, the big hit was I Stand Upon the Rock of Ages, Squire Parsons tune there, but one of my favorites that I played down here was He Laid Down His Golden Crown. Beautiful song.
That was a great song. Ray Dean Reese had the first verse, and I had the second verse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was one of the songs we staged. We didn't. We sang everything off there, but you know how some songs work on the platform, some songs don't.
Yep.
And that was one that usually worked, and we called it. You know, we never had a set program ever.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we knew about 3 or 4 songs a night that we would do for sure, but we never had any kind of order, and that was the way the Hamill directed the stage, and the way Parker Jonathan, who came in as the MC after Hamill retired. That's the way they worked, and you had to listen. As soon as the song was over, you had to listen for the next song to start.
Yep.
So, kept you on your toes.
You also joined about the same time as a Nutcake, who is doing very well today, and I think this was the only project that he was on, Tim Lovelace.
Yeah, Tim had joined a few months before I did, and, you know, most people, like you said, knew him as being a crazy nutcase. Who played banjo for the Florida Boys for years, but he was a great piano player. I mean, you talk about when you talk about a jazz piano player that can just throw these really cool chords in a song, is Tim Lovelace. And great songwriter. You know, wrote the old convention song of the Cathedrals, wrote Bend in the River of Life for Karen Peck and New River, and wrote 2 songs off that Beyond the Clouds recording.
Yes, he did.
But one of my favorites that he ever wrote was Get You to the Other Side.
You did that so many times.
Yeah, great songwriter. Great songwriter. And very, surprisingly, very intelligent. Very intelligent. Yeah, Tim was incredibly intelligent.
It's now 16 minutes to the hour of 9 o'clock. The Sunday Morning Gospel Show. Bryan Hutson in concert next Sunday evening here in the Valley over at the Spring Valley High School. Our own Kirby Staley will be in concert with Bryan as well. So get on out and attend that concert. Hope that you get to go, and you'll hear some good Christmas music and some other great music as well from Bryan Hutson and Kirby Staley. Let's conclude our interview now.
Hi, this is Bryan Hutson. You're listening to the Sunday Morning Gospel Show with Randall Hamm here on WFLQ, French Lick.
We'll let you get off of here so that you can get on to your activities today that you are going to do. But thank you for telling us that you're going to be in concert next Sunday along with our own Kirby Staley, 6 p.m. over at Springs Valley High School. And, of course, whenever Sold Out Quartet is in the area, we encourage you to go on out and see Matt, Bryan, and all the Sold Out. Tell the folks who's in Sold Out here of late so folks will know who they're going to see.
Singing tenor for the last 8 years for Sold Out is an incredible singer named Dusty Barrett, and Dusty, in my opinion, is the best tenor that I've ever sung with, and I've sung with a lot of tenors.
Yep.
Ian Owens, he spent many years with the Imperials and Ernie Haas' Signature Sound. He's singing bass. Michael Howard's been part of the group for the last 8 years as well, playing the piano. Matt Rankin owns the group. He sings a little bit of baritone, a little bit of lead, and writes the majority of our songs, and I'm the lead singer, so that wraps up all Sold Out.
And that's Sold Out Quartet. Go see them anytime they're in the area. And, of course, we encourage you folks to go out and see Bryan Hutson anytime he's in the area. And he sings around here quite a bit, sometimes during the summer, and usually during the Christmas time season. He's plays Campbellsburg, Springs Valley, quite a few places around here.
Exactly right. I appreciate it, Randall, very much, and you have a good day, my friend.
All righty, Bryan. We'll see you down the road.
All right, Randall. Thank you, bud.
Thank you, Bryan.
Bye-bye.
And Bryan Hutson's been our guest this morning on the Sunday Morning Gospel Show via interview yesterday.